When I reached out to pull a piece of physical media from my collection, just randomly with my eyes closed, there's a pretty good chance it's probably going to be a horror film or an action picture. Those are the things that I collect the most, maybe because they create a visceral reaction in me when I watch them, and that my brain kind of, because it loves that pump of adrenaline, goes, oh, you're probably going to watch that again, so you should pick it up on DVD. The one I'm talking about today is Kill 'Em All. Not Kill Them All, Kill 'Em All. And it was a film that came out in 2012 through this wave of films that were coming out of places like Thailand and Vietnam. I believe that Bak created this kind of doorway for all of these action films to be produced and to also get North American distribution. This still happens today, like you still get a lot of South Korean films that get released, you also get a lot of Chinese films, but not quite as much as you used to get in like the 2010s. And this one kind of fell through the cracks. It stars legendary Kung Fu master Gordon Liu, who plays the villain, and surprisingly does do a number of fight scenes. You know, stunt doubled, of course, but it's fun to see him on screen. This is one that has a really fun plot, if simple when you read it on paper, which is a bunch of random people wake up in a room, and then they're given tasks that they have to fight basically to the death, and the room kind of opens up and they end up in a big warehouse having to fight each other and a bunch of other people. I mostly picked this one up. Number one, because I knew it was choreographed and starred Tin Man. Well, co-stars. He has a big role. Tin Man is one of the action choreographers. He's been working for a very long time, but he's like top shelf. Most Scott Adkin films that are made these days are choreographed by Tin Man. He has a real kind of acrobatic and creative and flowing style when it comes to action choreography. You can see very easily when you watch any of the films that he worked on, why he's in high demand, and this had the novelty of him appearing in it quite a bit, so I wanted to check it out. I didn't even talk about the quality of the movie, which I think is good. I don't think it's great. It would be a kind of, you know, I have to set people up when I recommend it. But when it comes to these kind of like basically DTV action films directed by a guy who made like only 2 other pictures, yeah, this is one that I would point to and say, oh, have you not seen Kill 'Em All? It has some really good stuff on it, you should check it out. I mean, this is the kind of film that I reach onto my shelf and watch when I have a friend that I know loves action. For example, my pal Alex Chung, which you can see in the Jackie Chan video that's on this channel. I'll link it below. This is a movie that we watched when he was over, and I remember him being like, oh wow, the fights are actually pretty good in this movie. And how I got this movie, I think I would have probably picked it up at like a bargain bin, maybe like a 3 for $15 thing, because this was released by Wellgo US Entertainment, and they are a company that still exists today, and basically they exist as kind of like a pipeline to put out any Asian action film. They do it very, straightforwardly. There's often no special features. The most will be maybe like a little 3-minute featurette, and it's just a movie that they put on these discs. And the thing about these kind of action films, especially ones that like our DTV are fairly generic, like this cover, you can find like 30 other films that have this cover, is that if I don't own them on DVD, oftentimes they are very hard to watch. Now this one, I would almost bet money that it's on Tubi, and I mean Tubi is a great resource for this kind of stuff, but like they don't have any really like hardcore fans, and because of that, it's difficult to find copies out in the wild. They may only be, a couple thousand. They were on generic video shelves, probably Best Buys, and people don't really collect them, and if they get rid of them, oftentimes they would throw them out, as opposed to looking on eBay and looking for, people that would want them. This one, I'm sure you could probably find for like $5 out there, but maybe one day that won't be the case. There's a lot of films that I have that are just the movie, just action films, Asian releases, even North American ones, and that when I go looking for them on DVD, because maybe I can't find them anywhere on the internet, I discover what people want, like $80 for this DVD, and it's because, there was never a big need for it, and there's only a few out there, so they jack up the price. So this is a great movie, even though there's no special features, which is usually a no-no when it comes to owning something on DVD for that matter. But I like the film enough, it's novel, it's fun, it has a, straightforward concept, and so this is why I keep this on my shelf, and I will continue to keep it on my shelf. And if you like me talking about Blu-rays and DVDs and you have no idea who I am, Make sure to check me out on the Bay Street Video Podcast every week, where me and Mark Hansen, the product manager of the Bay Street Video Store, a brick-and-mortar video store in Toronto, Canada, talk about all of the notable Blu-rays and DVDs that are released every week. And what's really fun about this podcast, find the link below, is that you will absolutely learn about movies you have never heard about, because sometimes they don't get a big streaming release, no one's talking about them, but they come to DVD. You will not believe how many World War II films come out every week that you never hear about, but they keep making them and they keep landing on those shelves. So check out the Bay Street Video Podcast.